and there's a struggle, it's terrible we're doing this. We should just buy for the manager.
Yeah, but I don't think Chelsea have got it, have they? The difference is the clubs you mentioned there they've got models, right? They've got models that you can lift and shift into. The thing is with Chelsea, their owners have come in and tried to create that model overnight. Listen, yes. I think it's the same with any walk of life. It's the same with any walk of life. If you try to do too much too quickly, yeah, and your opposition, but I'm not excusing him, they're doing terribly, but your opposition are teams like Liverpool and City, for example, that have been doing it for years, even Arteta at Arsenal, that have built this squad over years, have implemented their philosophy. That's why at the beginning of the season, I just said, I think it's going to be a tougher year for Chelsea than people think. And I really, really, really do not think that in any way, shape or form, they should be challenging for anywhere near the league.
Inter did this.
When?
Okay, so in 1920, Antonio Conte took over the club. We just made Champions League, and he said, "You know what? We spent 250 million at that time. That was a lot of money. We bought Lukaku. I think we bought Barella. We got Diego Godin. We got a lot of new players. Alexis Sanchez from Man United, if you remember that time. We got a lot of players, and instantly he improved the team. We came second, Europa League final. The year after, won the league."
I think the two.
I am just saying that it can. I am not saying that they should win the league, Savva.
Yeah,
but they should look much better than this.
Yeah. That I agree with.
They should look much better than this.
Mo, that's exactly what I said. Right. That's exactly what I said. But the whole they should be winning the league. I think people just looked at the 1 billion and don't look at all the other factors that go into it. For me, if you're going to give a manager £1 billion. Get your manager at the beginning of a project and go, right, this is the manager we're going to give £1 billion to over the next 4 years. They're going to have £250 million a year, and we're going to do it slowly. 3 or 4 players in, 3 or 4 players out, each window for 4 or 5 windows. That way you go, right, this manager has been backed. These are all his own players. He's had 4 years to get this right. The problem is doing it in 3 windows with, if I'm not wrong, guys, that £1 billion was spent with 3 different managers in the different windows.
Yeah,
if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I think how the club did it is that they bought the players and they tried to find the manager that will suit that project, not the other way around.
Exactly.
So they bought young players, and they did what like Arsenal. When we come to Arsenal, we'll talk about this. They bought a lot of youngsters, and they said, we want this youth project, young. We replace our youth system with a lot of these youngsters from Brazil, from here and there, trying to sell somebody. Who do we turn into that developed a young team before, that got them and made them relevant in the Premier League and developed these young players and made superstars that Real Madrid would want? Oh, you, Pochettino. They didn't ask Pochettino, who do you want? They said, you are the one who to develop these players, not the other way around. And this is when they went wrong.
So you're talking about his time at Spurs?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So if you're going to do that, then you have to look at a few factors. During his time at Spurs, the first year was atrocious. The first year under Pochettino at Tottenham Hotspur was horrible, and he was nearly sacked, right? And then whether this is luck, whether this is a stroke of genius.
Can you define atrocious, Savva, please?
We were really bad to watch. Like what Chelsea fans say now, we were bad to watch. There was no philosophy.
Where were you in the league?
God, that year, Jesus,
I can't remember, and I can't remember. I'm not asking you to remember, but I guarantee you weren't 11.
What season? What season was his first season? What year?
God,
2015 or
14-15.
Yeah, 14-15. They weren't 11th people.
No,
I get what you're saying.
No,
we agree on something.
Guys. 14-15 Spurs were 5th.
Yeah.
So it wasn't atrocious.
Hang on. I never said through league position we were. You've got to listen to what I'm saying. I said the football was bad. We weren't looking good. There didn't seem to be any team cohesion. Then we started to click towards the end of the season. Harry Kane came in. This was when Harry Kane was a kid. Do you remember when every other fan base in the world was saying one season wonder? Harry Kane came in and something just sparked. Then moving into the next season, he started to get a couple more players in like Son and, if I'm not wrong, Toby Alderweireld. Then it all started to click into place. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen at Chelsea, but he didn't come to Spurs and do brilliantly to begin with. We weren't very good at all. It took him a long time.
I disagree with you. That word you just said, that the football word wasn't clicking and all this stuff, that's subjective. At the end,
I mean, it wasn't if you supported Spurs and watched them in that season.
See,
No, it wasn't
see, you're
subjective.
looking at it from a Spurs point of view. You're looking at it from, I want to enjoy the football. That's not the target.
No. It wasn't just about enjoying the football.
You literally said that.
Mo, listen to what I'm saying.
I am listening to what you're saying.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying. It was everything.
Let me finish the sentence.
Couldn't.
I am responding to what you are saying, Savva. You literally said the football wasn't clicking. It wasn't clicking into gear until he got this player. But at the end, this is very subjective. I can accept a manager that will defend for 90 minutes for 38 games. It look absolutely horrible and win me the league.
Yeah, it wasn't that though. It wasn't that. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Can you define what do you mean? If you become fifth in the Premier League and you're calling that atrocious, can you define that then?
No, because Mo, what you're doing, Mo, is I'm saying certain things and you're saying that I've said this is atrocious. I didn't say the league finish was atrocious. The football wasn't very good at all. It was constantly changing the 11, like what I've seen him do with Chelsea, constantly trying out different partnerships, playing people out of position. And as Spurs fans, we were like, oh my God, why is he playing this bloke there? Why is he playing him there? Now, we were always going to be decent enough to stay out there because we had decent players. We had some players that could get you over the line.
Did you have
in games.
Players as good as now as Chelsea? Did you have the?
We had more experienced players than what they've got now. We had people like Christian Eriksen. We had people like Emmanuel Adebayor. We had some players like Jan Vertonghen. So Hugo Lloris. We had a core of players that would play each week that were more senior. But I'm not defending him. I'm not saying that's going to happen again. But my point was, anyone going, oh, look, let's see what he can do if he can do what he did at Spurs. It took a while to get to that. It took a while for us to be the team that everyone enjoyed watching.
Well, I think if they got fifth, they would be absolutely very happy, Chelsea, at this point.
Sure, but
they aren't fifth, are they?
But you're talking about league position. I've not once mentioned league position. I'm talking about the actual structure of the club, the playing style, what was happening on the pitch. It was all a bit, oh my God, what is this guy doing? There were calls for this guy to get sacked. And there was a game if there's any Spurs fans in the chat, they'll tell me it was I want to say Aston Villa, but I might be lying. I want to say Aston Villa where we were losing or drawing 1-1. He'd had a really, really bad run. And everyone was saying he's going to get sacked if he doesn't win today. And then Kane, as a kid, comes on, scores a free kick. And it was one of them moments in football where it clicked. And from then on, we actually had a good run and actually started to click. Then he got a few more players and then it just clicked. I haven't said that will happen here, but then we had a few more experienced players. At the moment, I look around at this Chelsea team. I don't know where they're going to for their experience. I don't know where they're going to for their
It's all
goals.
about the experience then, but there was a style of play in the beginning of the season. There was a way of playing football. They were first in ball position, first in passes completed, first in chances created, right? So there was a style of play, but results weren't here. I think there was a style of play. And I believe Spurs at that time, you got fifth. How bad can it be if you got fifth? If he was chopping and changing and getting a result, how bad can it be?
We had, Mo, as I just said to you, we had a really good run-in towards the end of the season. We had a good run-in towards the end of the season where we started to look better. It just clicked. Honestly, listen, Mo, you could say whatever you like about fifth, whatever. The Spurs fans will tell you that it nearly went very, very south for him.
Spurs fans aren't objective when it comes to this because they are Spurs fans. I'm objective because I don't support Spurs.
Okay, but you're being objective about a season that you don't really know anything about. You're just looking that we finished fifth. The ups and downs of that season was madness. It's like the other season when under Conte, when we finished fourth, we were terrible that season and then had a good run at the end and finished fourth. Doesn't mean we were brilliant all season. Things can change. So I'm not saying keep him. Chelsea can sack him. I don't care. He's not my manager. I wanted him sacked from Spurs.
So do you believe he was the right manager for the job then?
At Chelsea?
Yes. Not in hindsight. At that time, they have a lot of kids.
I said at the time.
I said at
the time, I'm not sure who comes in and does well right now because they're a mess. And do you know what? I'm going to say it again right now. The next manager that comes in, yeah, let's keep this same energy after 20 league games. The next manager, the same energy. The same energy. The next manager coming in. If let's say Poch loses 5-0 tonight. Let's just say, for example, right? Let's say Poch loses tonight, right? And they get sacked. I'm hearing that he can't be sacked because of FFP. But anyway, let's say he goes, hypothetical world. The next manager comes in, he's got 15 league games left. Let's say he does terribly. Chelsea fans are going to get on that manager's back as well.
Sack him and all. Sack him and all.
Right. Okay. So
Sack
sure.
him and all.
Okay. So sure. So Mo, then at what point I'm asking the question, does it then become, hang on, so it was Potter, Tuchel, Lampard, Poch, this new manager, let's just call him Jack Jones. All 5 of those have done badly, but you want to just keep sacking managers every 20 games.
Yes.
At what point? Yes. Okay. Cool. How does it ever get better then if you're going to do that? At what point do you have?
Right. So here is the thing. It's
But
all
in
how
20
you
games.
yes. It's all how you view your club. It's all how you view your club. I'm not saying sack him if he's 5th or 4th or 6th, but if you're 10th, if you lose 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Inter sacked 2 managers after 5 games. We sacked De Boer and we sacked Gasperini. This is what you consider when you consider yourself a big club. And that's, I keep saying this, and I don't know why people don't want to hear it, right? If you're a big club, failure should not be accepted. I'm not saying you have to win the freaking league because there's only one league winner. But I'm saying if you keep losing games, sack the guy, get the next guy in line, and get the third guy in line until you get it right. We did the same Inter until we won the league and we reached a Champions League final. We sacked the guy that came fourth and made us make the Champions League, right? After 7 years. What happened after? We won the league. We got the guy that is better than him. That's the problem.
So I'll ask you then.
I'm not going to tell you black and white, right? I'm not about that. Football is about perspective and objectives and how you look at it. But if a manager comes in 20 games, loses 12 of them, sack the guy, get the next one in.
Okay.
Because 12 games for Chelsea lost is not acceptable. Same for Man United. It's how you view your club.
I get you. So, okay, so they're just going to... So I just want to be brutally clear here, right? You're saying, so the next manager comes in, has a bad 15 games or doesn't hit the heights that Chelsea fans want because he's got a new style, that none of these players are his. He needs time to implement and work out who his players are. But if he doesn't do that in 15 to 20 games, he's out and the next man comes in.
Not that. If he loses 13 or 12 games out of 15, he should get sacked.
Okay,
because
sure.
I believe no manager...
13 out of 15.
Poch is 11th. Savva, Poch is 11th.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Games.
I'm going. Hang on. I'm going by.
Okay.
I just asked you to set the standards, so I know what rules we're playing by.
I am setting the standards.
You set the standards. I then answered that standard, and you said he's 11th. Cool. So is the standard the number of defeats or where you are in the league?
But that's it's correlated because it depends. It's very correlated.
Yeah, but it's generally speaking.
It's correlated.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking,
if you lose games, you will fall in the table.
It's going to be where you are in the league. In reality, you could lose 11 games and be top if everyone's lost. I don't know if everyone could physically lose 11 games each, but
I don't think so.
But generally speaking, when you lose 12 games, you're going to be around mid-table, aren't you?
Listen.
Yes, I don't know what the other teams will do, but I'm looking at.
Sure. Listen,
you know how it is, right?
Listen, as I said.
You're trying to put me in a corner, but this
hang on.
It didn't make sense, to be honest.
Listen, no, it made perfect sense. It made perfect sense.
No, hold on. Right? But you losing games will correlate to you dropping in the league table.
Sure. So I'm asking then, so the next manager, what does the next manager need to do in let's just call it around 20 games. He's got 20 league games, the next manager. What does the next manager, whether it's Chelsea or any other club, have to do in order to not be sacked? And a backup question to that, Mo, is at what stage, if you keep doing that, we're saying you keep doing it until it gets better.
It works.
What is okay? But when you say works, what is acceptable to then not sack a manager? Because 20 games.
I'm gonna explain. So what Ten Hag did last season, for example, took Man United, showed at least a home style of play. They were second, and I said that many times. They were second in the home form. They were very tight defensively. They won a cup, reached another cup final. He showed a lot of promise. That's when he kept a manager in 20 games. You can show your style of play, which is by the way, your manager showed us that you can have a style of play with bad players while winning games, right? So that's not hard to do.
Have we got bad players when our best 11 is in there? Are we playing bad players?
But he still played the style of play, and we show signs without good players. Didn't he draw at Man City with Emerson Royal and the other people? Didn't he win games without James Madison? Didn't he get a tune out of Richarlison? Didn't get a tune out of Timo Werner? This is Ant Postecoglou, bro.
Sure.
You asked me the question, and when I answered it, here's the answer then. Final answer, right? Final answer.
Go on.
You show me a style of play. You win games because this is a winning business. You have to win games if you consider yourself a big club. You show improvement. You are warranted maybe another time. Otherwise, you move backward. You lose a lot of games.
Sure.
You don't show a style of play, right? You don't improve players. You get sacked, and the next one in line comes in.
Sure. Listen, do you know what? I'll be interested to see. And by the way, as I said, it's not my team. I don't care. Keep doing it. We'll see when that works. We'll see when that works.
With it. That's what I don't know.
Of course I disagree with it. Of course I disagree with it.
So you think that Chelsea should keep, okay, I'm not saying 11 because you said Poch should get sacked, but I'm going to ask you something. If a Chelsea get a manager in the next, I'm going to put you on a hypothetical. If Chelsea get a manager in the next 20 games, right, and they lose 10 and they stay 11th in the league, do you believe that manager deserves the next season to get his players and all this stuff?
I believe that you will have a manager that is then having to cope with the fallout of the last 18 months to 2 years that has been run badly. This is what no one's taken into account, right? Let me throw your scenario back at you, right?
Yes, please.
If Pep Guardiola leaves Man City tomorrow, hypotheticals, right?
Yeah.
What are we expecting? Whoever takes over this Man City squad, what are we expecting them to do between now and the end of the season?
Now until the end of the season?
Yeah, what are we expecting them to do?
Depending
on any manager can come in. Nagelsmann.
What do you expect them to do?
Nagelsmann comes into Man City tomorrow. What's he got to do this season?
So they play 22 games. They have...
No. What's
I'm going to answer the question, Savva. I'm going to answer the question. What you want the Okay, Savva.
Because I'm trying to flow. I'm trying to flow with my point.
Savva, please. You want a specific answer. And when I start answering a different answer, you cut me off. So let me answer it simply, Savva. They have 16 games left. If they win at least 13 games or 14 games out of the 16 games left, they are around the top. They lose the league, win the league, of course, is the best outcome. Lose the league within a point or two in the last game or two, this manager did a good job. But if this manager comes fourth, this manager isn't good enough to lead this squad. Did I answer the question?
I was trying to flow and it did. Yeah, but listen, whoever comes into Man City, I'll simplify this for you.
Apparently.
No, whoever comes into Man City has to win the league. Everything is ready at Man City to win the league. Their squad is brilliant. The stadium is great. There is no problems at the club. There's no problems in the dressing room. There's no problem with the hierarchy. So if Pep left right now, the manager comes in, go. Right? The difference is whoever comes in at Chelsea is now picking up 2 years of mess. Whichever manager you want that comes in is picking up 2 years of mess, of bad technical directors, of bad scouting, bad signings, 3 or 4 different managers that all try to implement something different. So the new manager comes in and we're saying, right, you've inherited all this 2-year mess. You've got 20 games. And if you don't do X, Y, or Z, you are sacked in 20 games. That's fine. Do it. That's fine. But if you keep doing that, at no point can a club actually grow and build. Because every manager is going to be coming in. A new manager could come in tomorrow and go, I hate everything that Poch has done. I'm going to go to a back 5. I haven't quite got the players to do it, but I'm going to play this style. And then I'm going to get to the summer and buy my own players. Yeah. In that time, he's going to lose games because he hasn't got the players to play his style. And he'll go, right, I need my own players. Oh, well, you're sacked because you didn't do well. Well, hang on. You gave me all the players I inherited were the players that weren't performing and from a bad running of the club. So at what point do you say, right, someone's going to need some time at some point to make it their own?
You have to show signs to to be granted time, you have to show signs. I'm going to tell you what I mean.
Sure.
When Thomas Tuchel came to Chelsea, they weren't great. Everybody wanted Lampard sacked. They got Thomas Tuchel. I don't like Thomas Tuchel. It's not my cup of tea. But Thomas Tuchel came in. What he did is tighten the defense because they were scoring as much as they conceding at that season. That's why he won the league, but that's why he won the Champions League, by the way. He tightened the defense. He was able to stop them leaking goals, scored some goals. Offensively, they weren't as fluid as under Lampard. We know that. But he gave the board the reason because he won games. They made Champions Leagues and they won the Champions League. He gave them the reason to give him another year. That's an example of how a manager can absolutely
I'll ask you,
convince a board to give you another league, another time.
Did Tuchel come into the mess that you find at Chelsea now? This is again context.
Very subjective, but
it's not subjective. Look at the mess.
I'm going to tell you why, because I'm not asking the new manager. Okay, let me answer you with one sentence. Because I'm not asking the new manager to win the Champions League. So it's relative, bro. It's relative.
It's all relative. Every football fan right now, I don't think any of us would disagree. Chelsea are a mess, right? Everyone agree with that?
Absolutely.
Right, Chelsea are a mess, but we want to drop in a guy here and go on.
What are we asking?
It's a mess. Sort out all these players' mentalities, sort them out all that positionally, implement your style, show signs. You've got 20 games, go. I just feel like at some point it's got to stop, and at some point they need a manager that has a full summer, then a full year and another summer, so that it can start to be their players and their philosophy. I just think at the end of the day, we can keep doing this 20 games, but the best two clubs in the league have had their managers for years and years and years and years and don't keep changing their managers. It can't be a coincidence that the teams that are first, second and third in the league, how long have they had their managers?
But I will, barring Arsenal, they're a good example because of how badly they started. But if Pep would have been 11th after his first season, no style of football getting worse, talking like he is, maybe he wouldn't have lasted. Maybe. Well, we don't know. It's hypothetical, but
it's more likely than not. He would not have lasted.
Yeah. Like, guys, I want to go to
we can all put hypotheticals, but we see more likely
than not. Just for the interest of time, boys, I want to go to some of these super chats here. There's actually a question that got put in from Saad, one of our members. He says, guys, the team is so raw and he had most of his players injured. No right back or left back. Poch got thrown under the bus by the owners with how raw these players are. Simply, how can you expect Poch to get them far when he currently sits fourth in the league for XG and the players are not scoring?
So keep him then, Sad. So is that what this question is? So keep him? Is that what you said? I said, 11th. Listen, I don't know how many times I can repeat that. You see 11th, you lose that many games, you get sacked.
Can I ask, if the new manager comes in, who's scoring the goals for the new manager till now, the end of the season?
Why was Jackson good in the
Jackson's not good enough.
Why was he good in the preseason? Why were people talking about Jackson?
Mo, we've seen many players that look very good in preseasons. It's not real life. It's not the same as when you get to games. I'm asking a question. If a new manager's dropped in, by the way, I can't say this a number of times. I'm seeing what everyone's saying, like I'm defending Pop. I don't care. Sack him. I don't care. But all I'm chucking is, if a new manager comes in now, who's scoring the goals between now and the end of the season? And then when Chelsea have a high XG between now and the end of the season and don't score, are we going to blame the new manager for that as well?
Listen, great point. Viewers, give us your opinions on that. Sonny here says, Milo Mudryk would have flourished at Arsenal, no doubt in his mind.
Give me a break. The guy's not even a footballer. Just give me a break.
Are the Chelsea players playing for the manager?
I don't think they're buying into the whole thing. Like, I was watching the game here on the weekend, and in the commentary, I don't know who you guys got, but we had Jim Biglin, and they were saying that the only player they think cares about the club was Conor Gallagher in that game, even though he wasn't playing good. They said the way he looks was only. They said the rest of them head drop down. They don't believe, which I don't know whose fault is that. Is it Poch, the players, or the 8-year contracts? But
I hear you there.